Ladies and gentlemen, there is a force invisible yet powerful that shapes the destiny of every man and woman. Some recognize it, embrace it, and rise to greatness. Others dismiss it, reject it, and sink into mediocrity. The difference between those who achieve and those who fail is not luck, talent, or circumstance. It is the understanding and application of one essential principle, definiteness of purpose. The man who drifts through life without a clear, burning goal is like a ship without a rudder. He moves, but he goes nowhere. He works, but he accomplishes little. He wishes, but he never commands. He allows circumstances to dictate his fate instead of shaping his own future. Every towering success, every empire built, every fortune made began with one decision, the decision to pursue a definite chief aim with unwavering commitment. Look at history, and you will see this truth in action. Thomas Edison's relentless pursuit of the electric light, Henry Ford's vision of an automobile for the masses, Andrew Carnegie's unwavering desire to build an empire of steel, all were driven by an obsession so powerful that failure was not an option. The man who lacks definiteness of purpose wakes up each day unsure of his direction. He jumps from one opportunity to another, constantly seeking the shortcut, the easy way, the secret formula to success. And in doing so, he condemns himself to a life of frustration, disappointment, and regret. The mind, like a fertile field, will produce whatever is planted within it. If a man sows the seed of purpose, nurtures it with persistence, and protects it from the weeds of doubt, his harvest will be success beyond measure. But if he scatters his efforts, if he allows distractions and fears to take root, he will reap nothing but failure. Weak men claim that success is for the lucky, the privileged, or the gifted. But the truth is this: success bends to the will of the man who knows precisely what he wants and will not stop until he gets it. The world steps aside for the man with a purpose so strong that obstacles crumble before him. Those who ignore this one thing will always wonder why others rise while they remain in the shadows. But those who embrace it, who carve their purpose into their very soul, will command life itself. Every great achievement in history has been driven by a singular force, definiteness of purpose. It is the foundation upon which success is built, the guiding light that turns dreams into reality. Without it, a man drifts through life, moving without direction, achieving little, and settling for far less than he is capable of. The mind, when left without a definite purpose, becomes weak, uncertain, and susceptible to failure. But when it is focused on a clearly defined goal, it becomes an unstoppable force, capable of bending circumstances, overcoming obstacles, and achieving greatness. The difference between the man who succeeds and the man who fails is not found in talent, luck, or intelligence. It is found in their level of clarity. The man who knows exactly what he wants moves with confidence, speaks with conviction, and acts with precision. His thoughts are organized, his energy is concentrated, and his steps are deliberate. He does not waste time on trivial matters because his mind is fixed upon a definite aim. He does not entertain distractions, for he knows that every moment spent away from his goal is a moment wasted. A man without a definite purpose is like a ship set adrift on the ocean, at the mercy of the winds and the waves. He moves, but he moves aimlessly. He works, but he accomplishes nothing of lasting value. He wakes up each morning uncertain of what he should do, where he should go, or how he should proceed. He allows circumstances to dictate his actions instead of commanding his own destiny. He takes what life gives him instead of demanding what he truly wants. In the end, he looks back with regret, wondering where the years have gone, realizing too late that he has squandered the greatest gift of all, his own potential. History has shown that every great leader, every industry titan, and every world changer possessed one common trait: an unshakable, definite purpose. When Thomas Edison set out to create the electric light, he did not waver in his belief. Though he failed thousands of times, he pressed forward because his goal was clear. When Henry Ford envisioned an automobile that every man could afford, he faced opposition, ridicule, and setbacks, but his mind was made up. His purpose was definite, and nothing could deter him. Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men in history, attributed his fortune to this single principle, knowing exactly what he wanted and never losing sight of it. The man who embraces definiteness of purpose gains a power that others cannot comprehend. He moves with a certainty that commands respect. He speaks with authority because he knows where he is going. Opportunities seem to appear before him, not because he is lucky, but because he is prepared. His mind is alert, his instincts are sharp, and his decisions are swift. He does not hesitate, for hesitation is the mark of uncertainty. He does not retreat, for retreat is the path of the weak. Many men wish for success, but few achieve it because they lack a burning desire backed by a definite purpose. Wishing is weak. Hoping is powerless. Only those who transform their desires into a fixed aim, backed by unwavering belief and relentless action, ever reach the heights of true success. The man who says, "I want to be rich," without a clear and specific plan will never achieve wealth. But the man who says, "I will build an empire in the steel industry and dominate the market," and then dedicates every ounce of his being to that goal, will turn that vision into reality. Definiteness of purpose creates resilience. A man who is uncertain about his path will crumble at the first sign of difficulty. He will see failure as proof that his dreams were too big, that the road is too difficult, that success is for others, not for him. But the man with a clear purpose welcomes challenges. He sees obstacles not as barriers, but as stepping stones. He does not fear failure, for he understands that every setback contains the seed of a greater victory. He presses forward with unwavering faith, knowing that success is not a matter of chance, but of cause and effect. The subconscious mind is a powerful force, and it responds to definiteness of purpose. When a man fixes his mind upon a single goal with intensity, his subconscious begins working to bring that goal into reality. Ideas, insights, and opportunities begin to appear as if by magic, but there is no magic at play, only the law of the mind. A scattered mind filled with conflicting desires and vague ambitions produces nothing of value. But a mind focused on a definite purpose becomes a magnet, drawing to itself the resources, people, and circumstances needed for success. Many men are held back not by lack of opportunity, but by lack of clarity. They jump from one venture to another, always seeking the next quick success, never staying long enough to master anything. They are driven by fleeting emotions rather than firm decisions. They mistake activity for progress, but in the end they find themselves exhausted and empty-handed. They fail to realize that true success does not come from chasing every possibility. It comes from committing to a single, definite aim and pursuing it with relentless determination. The world rewards those who know what they want. A man who walks into a room with a clear purpose is met with respect. He is given opportunities, for people recognize his certainty. The man who is unsure, who hesitates, who second-guesses himself, is met with indifference. No one follows the uncertain. No one trusts the indecisive. Strength, power, and influence belong to those who move with purpose. There is no excuse for living without a definite purpose. Every man has within him the ability to decide, to declare what he wants, and to pursue it with every fiber of his being. Those who fail to do so are not victims of fate, but victims of their own indecision. They have allowed themselves to be swayed by the opinions of others, distracted by temporary pleasures, and weakened by self-doubt. The moment a man chooses a definite purpose and commits to it fully, he steps into his true power. The road will not always be easy. There will be trials, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But the man who holds fast to his purpose, who refuses to let go, who keeps his vision alive no matter the odds, will ultimately shape his own destiny. A man who moves without a clear goal scatters his energy and accomplishes nothing of lasting value. He may work hard, he may be busy from sunrise to sunset, but in the end, he finds himself no further ahead than when he started. Without a definite aim, his efforts are wasted, his time is lost, and his potential remains unfulfilled. The world is filled with men who labor endlessly yet achieve little, not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they lack direction. They chase many things but master none. They take on countless tasks but complete few. Their actions are disconnected, their progress uncertain, and their results mediocre at best. Every truly successful man, without exception, has understood one fundamental truth. Effort, no matter how great, must be directed toward a single, definite goal to be effective. A magnifying glass can focus the power of the sun and set a fire ablaze, but only when held steady. Move it back and forth, shift its focus from one point to another, and it accomplishes nothing. So it is with the mind. The man who constantly shifts his attention from one ambition to another, from one project to the next, never experiences the full power of focused effort. His strength is divided, and divided strength is weakness. Look at the man who succeeds, and you will see a mind fixed upon a clear objective. His thoughts are disciplined, his actions aligned, and his time devoted to his purpose. He does not allow himself to be pulled in 100 directions. He does not waste time on pursuits that do not serve his ultimate goal. He knows that every moment spent on the unimportant is a moment stolen from the important. He has trained himself to distinguish between what merely keeps him busy and what truly moves him forward. The man who lacks a clear goal does not make decisions. Decisions are made for him. He drifts from one opportunity to another, following the latest trend, chasing the next big thing, hoping that somewhere along the way he will stumble upon success. But success does not come to those who wander aimlessly. It comes to those who have chosen a path and follow it with unwavering determination. The man who spreads his energy too thin achieves only a fraction of what he is capable of. He may start many things, but he finishes few. He may attempt much, but he excels at nothing. The greatest minds in history have all understood the power of concentration. The man who revolutionized science, the man who built vast industries, the man who wrote works of genius, all were men of singular focus. When Thomas Edison worked on the electric light, he devoted himself fully to the task, conducting thousands of experiments until he achieved his goal. When Andrew Carnegie set out to dominate the steel industry, he did not waste time on side ventures or half-hearted efforts. He poured his energy into a single, definite purpose, and the world rewarded him with wealth and power. These men did not allow distractions to pull them from their mission. They knew that to divide their effort was to dilute their power. The man who chases too many dreams at once captures none. He moves from idea to idea, never staying long enough to master any one thing. He is constantly starting over, always beginning anew, never seeing anything through to completion. He believes that the next opportunity will be easier, that the next venture will bring success, that the next plan will finally work. But the truth is this: success does not come to the man who is always starting. It comes to the man who endures, who commits, who persists until the job is done. Weak men justify their lack of focus with excuses. They tell themselves they must keep their options open, that they must be prepared for anything, that they must never put all their eggs in one basket. But the man who is truly wise understands that success requires full commitment. He does not divide his time, his energy, or his mind between multiple pursuits. He chooses his path and walks it with confidence. He does not look back. He does not waver. He does not entertain thoughts of retreat. He understands that to achieve anything great, he must give himself to it completely. Time is a man's most valuable asset, yet most squander it without thought. They spend hours on tasks that lead nowhere, days on pursuits that bring no progress, years on efforts that produce no real results. They fail to see that time, once lost, can never be reclaimed. The successful man guards his time as he would guard his wealth, for he knows that every wasted moment is a moment stolen from his destiny. He does not engage in activities that do not serve his ultimate purpose. He does not allow distractions to steal his focus. He does not let trivial matters consume his energy. Every day he asks himself, is this moving me closer to my goal? And if the answer is no, he abandons it without hesitation. The world is filled with men who have the ability to succeed but never do, because they lack the discipline to focus their efforts. They allow fear, doubt, and uncertainty to keep them from committing fully to any one thing. They hesitate, they second-guess, they change course at the first sign of difficulty. They convince themselves that they must wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect opportunity. But perfection is an illusion, and waiting is the enemy of progress. The man who truly understands the power of focus does not wait, he decides. He acts. He moves forward with conviction, knowing that progress is made not by hesitation, but by bold, decisive action. Success is a matter of momentum. A man who constantly changes direction, who stops and starts, who shifts from one ambition to another, never builds momentum. He spends his life in a perpetual state of beginning, never advancing, never reaching the heights he dreams of. But the man who stays the course, who refuses to be distracted, who continues moving forward even in the face of difficulty, gains unstoppable momentum. Each step he takes strengthens him. Each challenge he overcomes makes him more powerful. Each victory, no matter how small, builds upon the last until he becomes a force that nothing can stand against. The mind is a tool, but like any tool, it must be used correctly. A man who swings a hammer in all directions builds nothing. A man who turns the wheel of a car in every direction at once goes nowhere. So it is with the mind: scatter it, and it achieves nothing. Focus it, and it moves mountains. Those who master this principle rise to greatness. Those who ignore it remain forever lost in the crowd, wondering why success seems to elude them. The man who possesses a definite purpose and pursues it with unwavering commitment holds the key to success. The world does not reward half-hearted efforts or uncertain desires. It rewards those who move with conviction, those who refuse to accept defeat, and those who persist despite every obstacle placed in their path. Success is not a game of luck or chance. It is a matter of cause and effect, a direct result of the intensity with which a man commits to his chosen aim. Most men fail not because they lack ability, but because they lack commitment. They allow distractions to pull them away from their goals. They let doubt creep into their minds. They listen to the voices of failure, the voices that say, "It is too difficult," or "It is not meant for you." But the man who succeeds is deaf to these voices. He does not entertain thoughts of retreat. He does not look for a way out. He burns his bridges behind him so that there is no turning back. He sets his sights on the goal, and he moves toward it with absolute determination. There are two types of men in this world, those who dabble and those who commit. The dabbler tries many things, hoping to stumble upon success. He dips his toes in one venture, then another, but he never immerses himself fully. He starts with enthusiasm, but the moment he faces resistance, he retreats. He tells himself he will try again later, or that perhaps success is not meant for him. He does not realize that his failure is not due to lack of opportunity, but due to lack of commitment. The man who commits fully, however, experiences a different reality. He knows that success is not about trying, it is about deciding. He does not merely wish for success, he demands it. He does not test the waters, he dives in. He does not allow doubt to weaken his resolve. He operates with a certainty so strong that nothing can shake him. His belief in his goal is unbreakable, and because he believes in it so completely, the world begins to believe in it too. The power of unwavering commitment is a force greater than intelligence, greater than talent, greater than any external advantage a man may have. History is filled with examples of men who had no special talents, no privileged backgrounds, no great advantages, yet they rose to greatness through sheer determination. They refused to quit when others would have surrendered. They persisted when logic told them to give up. They understood a secret that most men never grasp. The moment a man commits himself fully, unseen forces begin to work in his favor. The subconscious mind is influenced by the level of commitment a man has toward his goal. When a man is uncertain, when he hesitates, when he is filled with doubt, his subconscious mind receives mixed signals. It does not know whether to move forward or retreat. But when a man decides with absolute conviction that he will achieve his goal, his subconscious mind aligns itself with his decision. Ideas begin to flow, creativity is heightened, and opportunities appear where before there were none. He attracts the people, the resources, and the circumstances necessary for success, not through luck, but through the power of his own belief. Most men live their lives with one foot in and one foot out. They want success, but they also entertain the possibility of failure. They pursue their dreams, but they also prepare for what they will do if they fail. They keep a safety net, a backup plan, an excuse ready at all times. And because they do this, they never fully succeed. The mind cannot operate at full power when it is divided. The man who leaves himself an escape will always take it. But the man who commits so completely that failure is not an option will always find a way to succeed. The difference between a man who succeeds and a man who fails is not found in external circumstances. It is found in the level of inner commitment. One man views obstacles as reasons to quit. Another sees them as stepping stones to greater achievement. One man listens to the doubts of others. Another shuts them out and presses forward. One man lets failure define him. Another lets failure refine him. It is never the outside world that determines on success. It is always the level of certainty he carries within himself. A man who is committed does not need motivation. He does not wait for the right mood, the perfect conditions, or the approval of others. He acts. He moves forward whether he feels like it or not. He does not let his emotions dictate his actions. He lets his purpose do that. He is disciplined, consistent, and relentless. He does not measure his progress by how he feels on a given day. He measures it by how far he has come and how much closer he is to his goal. Most men fail because they give up too soon. They expect instant success, and when it does not come, they become discouraged. They believe that struggle is a sign that they are on the wrong path. But struggle is not a sign of failure. It is a test of commitment. The universe does not hand out rewards to the man who merely wishes. It tests him. It challenges him. It asks, "How badly do you want this?" And only the man who proves his determination through unwavering commitment will ever taste true success. There are those who wait for the perfect conditions before they commit. They tell themselves they will start when they have more time, when they have more knowledge, when they have more money. But the truth is this: conditions are never perfect. The man who waits will wait forever. The man who acts, who commits with what he has where he is, finds that opportunities unfold before him. The road does not become clear before he starts. It becomes clear because he starts. Success does not require brilliance. It does not require luck. It does not even require extraordinary skill. What it requires is an iron will, a decision so strong that nothing can shake it. It requires a level of commitment most men are unwilling to give. It requires persistence in the face of adversity, faith in the face of doubt, action in the face of fear. The man who understands this principle, who lives by it, who commits himself fully, will find that the world bends to his will. Those who hesitate, who second guess, who allow themselves to be swayed by fear, will always look upon those who succeed and wonder why fate favors them. But fate favors no man, it simply responds to the level of certainty and commitment he brings to his goal. The moment a man makes the firm decision that he will achieve something and backs that decision with relentless action, success ceases to be a possibility and becomes an inevitability. Success does not belong to the man who wishes, hopes, or dreams. It belongs to the man who decides, acts, and persists. The world does not reward indecision, hesitation, or half-hearted effort. It rewards the man who knows what he wants, who moves toward it with unwavering focus, and who refuses to accept anything less than victory. Those who fail are not necessarily less intelligent, less capable, or less fortunate. They fail because they ignore the fundamental principles that govern success. They ignore the power of clear purpose, the necessity of focused effort, and the absolute requirement of unwavering commitment. A man who does not know what he wants is a man who will be ruled by those who do. Without a definite purpose, he drifts, allowing circumstances to dictate his direction. He reacts instead of acts, waits instead of moves, and hopes instead of commands. He wastes his energy on trivial pursuits, spreads himself too thin, and never channels his strength toward a single mighty goal. He wonders why success eludes him, yet he never stops to examine the fragmented nature of his own efforts. The difference between a man who rises to greatness and a man who remains in mediocrity is often as simple as this one has chosen a destination. The other wanders without one. Focus is the key that separates those who achieve from those who merely try. A man cannot divide his energy among 1,000 pursuits and expect to excel in any of them. The greatest achievements in history were not made by those who dabbled, but by those who dedicated themselves fully to a single objective. The man who spreads his efforts in too many directions weakens himself. The man who directs his full power toward one great aim strengthens himself beyond measure. Those who refuse to focus remain in a cycle of starting and stopping, trying and failing, never realizing that their lack of progress is the result of their divided attention. Commitment is the final and ultimate test. It is the force that separates the weak from the strong, the successful from the unsuccessful. A man who is fully committed does not entertain thoughts of retreat. He does not give himself an escape route. He does not stop when obstacles arise because he has burned all bridges behind him. His decision is final, his course is set, and his mind is unshakable. He understands that success is not a matter of luck or timing, but of relentless action in the face of all challenges. Most men fail because they leave themselves a way out. They approach success with one hand reaching forward and the other gripping a safety net. But success demands more. It demands total immersion, complete dedication, and an iron will. It demands that a man be willing to go further, work harder, and endure longer than the man who quits. It does not reward those who merely wish, but those who act with absolute certainty. The principles of success are simple, yet few have the discipline to follow them. You know what you want. Focus every ounce of your strength on achieving it. Commit so deeply that failure is not an option. Those who master these three principles will find that the world bends to their will, not through chance, but through the undeniable power of unwavering determination.